Many people recently have been asking me a similar question. Now that we're coming out of the pandemic, what does the future look like for Grace Cathedral? And so I've been sharing a few of my ideas, and this is what I hope to convey to you today. One of the most important things to realize is that Grace Cathedral is a kind of doorway, a kind of gateway from the world that's ordinary, where things are kind of what we expect, into a world of beauty, a world of transcendence, a world where there's the possibility of existing in peace with one another, a world in which we really see God. So there's a way in which it's a kind of entry point into that experience of transcendence and holiness. We may experience it through yoga or through music or through worship. Grace Cathedral is for people who are traditionally devout, for people who have deep faith and find this place a place that confirms their ideas of who God is. It is also a place that is for seekers, for people who may not even realize that they hunger for something transcendent, for something beautiful. Now, one of the things we've learned in the pandemic is just how important it is for us to be actually with one another in person. The places absolutely matter. And Grace Cathedral is a place where people come to experience that sense of holiness. It's a place where people come to experience great sorrow and great joy. It's a place where we gather together and find a kind of connection with one another that you can find nowhere else. Grace Cathedral is also becoming increasingly important online. In many ways, the era that we're experiencing right now it's a little bit like when Gutenberg first started printing the Gutenberg Bibles, when regular printing became available to ordinary people in the Western world, and the book became part of ordinary people's lives and houses. And what's happening with us today is that the internet is making it possible for us to connect with one another in a wholly new way, in a way that involves both hearing and hearing from the people we're communicating with. I'm very excited about this possibility. When I was growing up in the 1970s, broadcast television was relatively new, and it cost a tremendous amount of money to be able to put your message on television. But now there's a new space, a new room for bodies of faith to be able to communicate their ideals and their views. And Grace Cathedral has a deep and abiding commitment to the dignity of every single human being, a deep commitment to social justice. And Grace Cathedral is a way that we can move from the world of injustice that we're experiencing now into a new world of solidarity and peace with one another. In the 1990s, California became a state that was in transition ethnically. So the white majority was being enriched by new groups of people. And that's the same experience that we're seeing across the country in the United States today. And it's part of the reason why we have such an experience of polarization between different political parties and different races. But as we move through this period of transition, we will begin to see a new connectedness, a new unity among us. And places like Grace Cathedral become ever more important in that setting to bring people together and to help us to see what we share in common, help us to overcome those differences. Grace Cathedral has so much to offer. It's such a blessed place. It's a place where you can hear prayers offered every day of the week. It's a place where we preserve traditions of choral music and art that otherwise we wouldn't be able to experience in a world where religious institutions are in decline. It's a kind of oasis for that tradition, and then at the same time, it has an openness to the future and openness to including new people that I find inspiring. You may have many ideas about what you think Grace Cathedral might be, and I'd love to hear from you about that. But I'm very grateful you're able to watch this and be present with us here in this beautiful cathedral today. My name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral here in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.